What is up? What is up, everybody? How we doing? It's Monday. You know what time it is. Monday is fun day, guys.
I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM
Monday
jam.
fun day.
Tell me what you wanna do. You a badass bitch, a badass bitch. That don't get swallowed in that fat ass bitch. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. You a badass bitch, that don't get swallowed in that fat ass bitch. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do.
Shout out to Judea first. Shout outs to Kaswana Power. Beautiful woman. Shout out to Karen Field Spooner. Shout out to Jaquinta Jones. Shout out to Chosen Queen.
I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the
Jessica
ATM
Dawkins.
jam. Tell me what you wanna do. You a badass bitch, that don't get swallowed in that fat ass bitch. I got racks to the ATM
All right, let me stop getting sidetracked.
Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. You a badass bitch, that don't get swallowed in that fat ass bitch. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. They shooting in the parking lot, everybody get low. They shooting in the parking lot, they ain't where you wanna go. Now stand by soldier, and work the motherfucking ass like I told you. Stand by soldier, and work the motherfucking ass like I told you.
Shared up. Shout out to Michelle and Anzalone. Thank you for contributing to the show on TikTok. All right, let's get started. Welcome everyone, welcome. How is everyone? How y'all doing? I'm so happy you guys are here. I wouldn't have a show without you guys. I would not have a show without you. So I want to thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, WS Chase. Thank you for contributing to the show. Love you so much. All right. So let's get started. I want to welcome you guys to this multi-million-dollar stream. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I'm your host, Kev Prosper, the owner and founder of Prosperity U LLC. Prosperity U LLC is creating a society of wealth, positivity, and inspiration. You are tuned into Love and Money, the podcast of Prosperity U LLC. I want to thank you for contributing to the Cash App above, $ Prosperity U LLC. I know you see it. Go to that Cash App and give it everything you got. And then after you do that, visit this website below at prosperunlimited.com and allow that website to change your life. I guarantee it because it changed mine. Thank you for liking, subscribing, following, and sharing. But most importantly, thank you for sharing because sharing is caring. That's right. And if you like the show, give a gift or just give a like. The likes are free. And remember, we do this every Monday at 9 p.m. And last but not least, remember to invest in the brand Prosperity ULLC. All right. So I want to go straight in. I'm not even going to do any commercials or anything like that. Welcome, Linda Presley Carter. Welcome, Larry. Thank you for contributing to the show on TikTok. Love you guys. All right, so I want to go straight in. I want to get straight to the topic. I'm already, yeah. So I did a Facebook post. I did a thing, as they say. Let me just read it off my phone. I don't feel like going to my screens. I got it pinned to the top of my Facebook page. So here's the scenario. We're married and stay together for decades. Provide a stable home, put our children through college, and raise productive citizens in society. But in our old age, we don't talk, we sleep in different rooms, and have side relationships. Would you call that a successful marriage? Let's see. Yes or no? Yay or nay? Huh? What do you say? The topic is up in the air. Now, where did this come from? I was having a conversation with one of my sons, and he's at a young adult age. He's a young adult, early young adult. He's in his prime dating years, where he's his most virile and his most fertile, and he's just He's in his prime dating years, and these are the years that are very pivotal to the rest of his life. It's funny because you young, dumb, and full of, right? We all know that, right? But the fact that these years, where you're your most stupid, is where your life is kind of dictated, and it just makes me proud as a father to be able to be there for him and guide him, and then because I know I didn't have that. I know, Lord knows I didn't have that. And every generation sets the bar, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure that people of my generation who had that and are very well off now, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's just steps to raising the bar, and so I raise the bar for my children. I want them to have and from a biological perspective, that's not really the purpose of parenthood. The purpose of parenthood is to help your kids survive. Like, just don't die. But because we're humans and we're sentient and we're intelligent beings, we want better for our children, and so we put that motivation upon ourselves. That's kind of a burden we put upon ourselves as parents, as human parents, to want to push our kids to be better. But really, if you and you see, and this is the crux of the conversation. It's that bare minimum thing, Shout outs to Rosatini. Thank you for contributing to the show on TikTok. Shout out to Raj Holistic on Instagram. I see you guys. Thank you for contributing to the show. This is the crux of the conversation, is it bare minimum or is it high standard? What are we doing? You know what I mean? And let me break it down as to why. So my son is in his young adult years. He's in his prime dating life, and we're having conversation, and he's telling me, we're having conversation about the traditional family, right? What is the traditional family? And a lot of that has to do with the propaganda of the American dream, that's been kind of passed down upon us. If you're so quote unquote Americanized, a lot of that has to do with that, the whole idea of an American dream. I promise I'm gonna stop messing with my mic. I just want it to be perfect. And so yeah. And so the concept of a traditional family, right? And so, you think of, in our first world, modern generations, or contemporary modern generations, you think from like the Great Depression on, You know, it's always been a concept of, you know, man, wife, boy, girl, and the dog, you know, with the picket fence, right? And so everybody, in order to keep up with those Joneses, you know, all throughout the decades, a lot of people, a lot of couples just stayed together, and they took pride in sticking together. You know what I mean? But the undertone of it, what was the economics like in those ages? What was the religious pressures and the community pressure of people in those eras? You know what I mean? That were pushing them to stay together. A lot of the societal pressures that were on people back then aren't on us today. You know what I mean? And this is why you'll have people on the internet complaining about quote unquote modern women, right? And you know, complaining about modern women and how a lot of just men and women aren't built for marriages. They ain't like Big Mama, right? As they say, right? And so yeah, a lot of people of those past eras took a lot of pride in sticking together for the kids. You know, it was a very noble gesture, you know. And yeah, you're miserable, but you have a duty. You have a duty to your spouse, right? Even me saying that right now and saying it the way that I'm saying it just eeks for some of y'all. It's like your skins are crawling right now. You're not used to it. You're not used to someone talking to you this way. But people of those eras, those more survivalistic eras, were accustomed to that. You know what I mean? And they sat on their laurels and they said, you know, this is my lot. You know, this is my family, and I will do what's best for me and my children. You know what I mean? And I will stick this out. You know, depending on if you're watching this, depending on what generation you come from, you've heard this before. You've heard this talk before from some of your elders, whether they were baby boomers or Gen Xers. More than likely, baby boomers. Gen Xers is sprinkles. Like if it's like early Gen Xer, like someone in their 50s, then yeah, you've probably heard that before. But someone in their 40s or less, nah, not really. You know. Yeah, so you know, these ideals, the earlier generations tried to pass it down to us, but it didn't necessarily pan out. You know, when you have things like, especially in the black community, let's talk about the black community for right now. You have, you know, the crack era. You have, you know, a lot of marginalized, poor families. You know, they had the advent of welfare in the 60s. Then you had the crack era of the 80s. Then you had the high imprisonment of the early 90s. So it's like, you know, it's like all of these things that were attacking the black family. And so when Big Mama say, you know, I'm gonna stick beside him, you looking at him like, okay, but my mom ain't stick beside him. My dad ain't stick beside her. Like, what are you talking about? It just goes over your head. It sounds foreign. And generation after this, so in the first generation, maybe if you were a Gen X or a millennial, you got comfortable with the way things are. And now with the Gen Zers, they think this is how it's supposed to be because this is all they've ever seen. The Gen Xers and the millennials, they've seen the long-lasting couples. They've seen the Big Mama and the Pawpaw stick together for 40, 50 years. They've seen that. You know what I mean? But the Gen Zers and the later generations, they haven't seen that. So they get to thinking this is how it's supposed to be. Oh, I'm supposed to be getting married. What is that? How you do that? You know? And so with this conversation with my son was very, very pivotal because, you know, he's telling me how he's seen families that do stick together and stick beside him. And, you know, and he's wondering, like, why can't we be that way? You know what I mean? And then, you know, the concept, what is it? And then he's telling me about a successful marriage. I'm like, what is a successful marriage? What do you consider to be success? You know, I always believe that the word success has been very, I'll make this word up, if you will, subjectivized. The word success has been very subjectivized. You know what I mean? It's a very subjective word, because you'll hear people say, okay, oh well, is that worldly success or personal success, or you know what I mean? And so so now let's apply it to the conversation. What is a success? What do you consider to be a successful marriage? Because you could, those 40, 50-year marriages, you just see the surface. You see everyone giving them praise, you know what I'm saying, in church when the pastor calls them up to the front, or they sitting at the cookout or the family reunion, and everybody gives them praise for sticking together so long. But all you see is the surface. You know what I mean? And I was telling them, those couples, they probably, they probably sleep in different rooms. They probably have side relationships. They, or they probably live apart. Like they're still married on paper. You know what I mean? We always celebrate the surface. Because that's all we ever see. You know what I mean? So we have to take, while we give praise and accolade, we got to take it all with a grain of salt. Because what did he or she and she go through after all of those years? You know what I mean? Why my brother don't look like me? But all my life I thought we had the same mom and dad. You know what I'm saying? Why them kids on the school bus look like us, but they don't live with us? They look like me and my brothers, but they don't live with us. Like come on. Like people in them eras, they didn't used to have side chicks. They used to have side families. You know what I mean? There was no technology back then. You know what I mean? So if you was away on a business trip, come on now. Come on, church. Come on now. So, the concept of what is a successful marriage? Now, the people in the comments on my Facebook, when I posted it on Facebook, they were like, well, hey, mission accomplished. The kids are straight. They done went through college and they became productive citizens in society. Mission accomplished, right? So I'm just like, well, what about the romance? And then some of them were like, well, in so many words, the gist of what they were saying was, that's a terrible prison. That's a romantic prison. You know what I mean? And I feel like this conversation is in so many people's kitchen because this may have been your parents' situation. You know what I mean? I know to some degree it was my parents' situation. And my son even went as far as he said my parents did not have a successful marriage, even though they stayed together. And their children became productive citizens in society. So it's like I said, it's quote unquote subjectivized. The word success is subjectivized. What is a successful marriage? What is a successful marriage? One of the commentators on the Facebook thread was like, well, if I'm pretty sure, quote, this is a quote, not verbatim, she said, I'm pretty sure if they got rid of those side relationships, they'd actually begin to talk more and commune more. You know what I mean? And that may be, that sounds good. That sounds good. And it might just work. It may work. Every relationship is unique. Every relationship is unique. So that may work. I do give it the benefit of the doubt. However, when it comes to quote unquote side relationships, as I named it in the just basically all out cheating, right? Cheating is just a byproduct. One thing I had to learn about cheating is it was the byproduct of a lot of it was the build up. The cheating was it just worked up to the cheating. It's not, the cheating isn't the cause, it's simply the effect. You know what I mean? So if they're having side relationships, I'm pretty sure it wasn't the side relationships that made the marriage go awry. It was, a lot of it was the not talking and the you got to reverse engineer the issues of the relationship. The not talking and sleeping in different rooms. Okay, why are you not talking? Why are you sleeping in different rooms? Okay, and just break it down. Just keep peeling the layers. Just keep peeling the layers, and you'll get to the bottom of it. And then by that time, the cheating will just be whoop out the window. There was another point. I should have wrote it down. It was another point I wanted to make. Yes. And so now, when you imagine you're single and you're engaging a conversation like this, well, what is a successful marriage? Is a successful marriage you sticking together through thick and thin, being miserable and raising productive citizens in society? Or is a successful marriage being romantically happy, regardless of whether your children become successful, productive citizens in society? Right? So where's that? That was what I was trying to get at. Where is the happy medium? If you're a single person contemplating marriage, where do you find the happy medium? If you're looking at the next 30 to 40 years with this person, you're looking at that person and you're saying to yourself, damn, can I spend 30 or 40 years with this motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? Like, you looking them up and down, you know what I mean? And you look at, and I know for me as a man, when I look at a woman, the first thing that comes to my mind is, can she still, like, if my dick could still get hard, first of all, if my dick was still able to get hard, would I be able to still get hard for her? Like I'm hard for her now. You know what I mean? That's something to think about for men. But more so, like, can I put up with living with her, just sharing living space with this yeah. What the can I put up with sharing living space with this woman? Like, golly, can I tolerate sharing the bathroom with her? You know what I'm saying? Hey Kiki, what's up, Kiki? Shout outs to Kiki on TikTok. Thank you for contributing to the show. Love you so much. Is my soundboard working? All right, I don't know, my speaker not off, but my mic is still on. Okay, we still here. Shout out to Scott Smith. Thank you for contributing to the show on TikTok. Yeah, so for a single person contemplating being married, what would be the happy medium? How can you look forward to the rest of your life with this person if there is a potential that you can, live apart from each other or sleep in different rooms? You know what I'm saying? And not talk and have side relationships. Like, can you tolerate having side relationships? Just to stick together, just for the sake of sticking together, for the children. You know what I mean? Are you willing to do that? I don't think anybody is. You know what I mean? Shout outs to LRF. Thank you for contributing to the show on TikTok. Yeah. And please don't let me just talk to myself. You know what I'm saying? Hit me up in the chat. Like give me your 2 cents. And so, okay, so now you have the duty of marriage, and now, okay, if you were a single person and you were contemplating what is a successful marriage, you would also have to contemplate what is the purpose of marriage, right? What is the purpose of marriage? And so, so one thing that me personally, and this isn't my opinion. I do believe personally. I believe this is a fact, but you could call it my opinion if you want. But I believe that the purpose of marriage is for legacy building and wealth transfer, right? And when I say marriage, I don't mean two people spending the rest of their lives with each other. I mean the legal process of going to a courthouse and signing documentation and signing a legal contract, a legal binding contract with another person, right? The purpose of marriage is for legacy building and wealth transfer. You commingle your funds together and establish assets for the children, and then you pass it down to them in the event of you deceding, or in other words, dying. In the event of you dying or just passing it on to them as they become adults, right? Legacy building and wealth transfer. Those are the two purposes of marriage. that's another reason why I say if you can't have kids with someone, there's really no point in marrying them. Because the purpose of you marrying them, if you can't have kids with them, you don't need to get married to do that. You don't need to get married to spend the rest of your life with someone. That's what no one ever tells us. That's what no one ever tells us. Bingo. I bursted a lot of people's bubbles right there. You don't have to go through a legal process to spend the rest of your life with someone. You know what I mean? And especially for a lot that hurts for a lot of women to hear, probably, because I'm kind of raining on the parade that you had in your mind since you were a little girl. This is the crux of what I wanted to get at in pertaining to this conversation. You have duty versus romance. Duty versus romance. A duty to our children, and then or the desire for romance, right? Then you have the religious folks. They kind of make it difficult for everyone because they put God on it, and they use the God card on everything. You know what I mean? And you start getting the woo. It starts to just float away. You start to lose sight of the point. You start to lose sight of the point when you talk to religious people about marriage. You know what I mean? But ultimately, it boils down to the romance versus the duty. You know what I mean? I do believe. I say that I mentioned this in my book, "Leave the Fairy Tales Up to Disney: The Reality of Dating." I should have put the book cover behind me. I will. I mentioned this in my book, "Leave the Fairy Tales Up to Disney: The Reality of Dating," that men marry for love. You know what I mean? Women marry for stability and security. I mentioned that way back in 2011. No, 2009, matter of fact, but I published it in 2011. Men are the only true lovers. You know what I mean? I've heard in the past of how children are the only true love, right? I challenge that simply because a child is helpless. A child is innocent and helpless, and if you're their caregiver, it's the same reason why, like how a surrogate can raise a child and the child will truly believe that child is their mother. You know what I mean? It's not really love. It's more so dependency. Dependency and bonding. You know what I mean? But I would call love like a butterfly. It's light and fragile. You know what I mean? And it's it can be it can easily fly away. You know what I mean? Like a butterfly. And that comes in romance. You know what I mean? And so when a man the love of a man, the love and adoration and validation of a man is like no other. You know what I mean? That's something you can't carry that in your belly and push it out for 9 months like you do a child with. That's something that comes from God. You know what I mean? And this is why women still, even the generations, the younger generations where marriage is like just a foreign concept to them, they still intrinsically, deep in their heart of hearts, they still understand the value of being claimed as a wife. They hear that and they're like, wow, a wife, what is that? Wow, that sounds like something. I want that. You know what I mean? Even the younger women, they still the validation of a man still counts for something. You know what I mean? Even if the younger generations may not understand it or know what or have ever seen what a marriage is, and so I do believe a man's love is the only true love, because and the reason I juxtapose it with women, because like I said, women marry for stability and security. Because most times with women, they've already married you in their minds the minute they met you. You know what I mean? The minute they met you, they've already put the kids through college mentally. You know. So by the time by the time the man catches up to the woman, she's picking out the dress, she's making sure this and that. He's like, yo, wait a minute, I just love you. Like, dang. Like, come on. Yo, chill out. I just want to love you. You over here picking out dresses. Like, jeez. ROJ Holistic says, does too much romance before marriage take away from the relationship? Well, I'll say this, like I said, marriage is just a legal process. And this is another thing too. I'm gonna answer your question. Shout out to Faces by Arne. Congratulations, sweetheart. Congratulations on your new home. You have, for some people, marriage is a legal process, and for other people, marriage is a wedding. You know what I mean? And like I said, if you're not having kids with this person, or if you can't have kids with this person, you don't really have to marry them in order to be romantic with them. In order to, I do understand that with the legal process of marriage, it does kind of put in place where the person is a lot less likely to leave you, because there's a whole divorce procession behind them leaving you. But if you want to leave somebody, you don't care. You don't care. You want the house? Have it. You want the car? Have it. Fine, I'll pay child support. I'll get here's some alimony. Get out of my face. If you want to leave, you're gonna leave. So like I said, it's just a legal process, and it does provide some legal recourse in the advent of you, quote unquote, breaking up, or in other words, legally divorcing. You know what I'm saying? There's some legal recourse behind it. You can get some sort of something for them wanting to leave you. You know what I mean? But it's not gonna keep them. If they want to leave, they're gonna leave. You know what I mean? Like, stop lying to yourselves. Wake up. Come on. So he says, so RJ Holistic on Instagram, he says romance before marriage take away from the relationship. Spiritually, like the marriage is there. It's there spiritually. It's just manifesting in the courthouse on paper. You know what I mean? And in the wedding ceremony with the family. You know what I mean? That's the thing about ceremonies. This is another thing a lot of people, they don't tell a lot of people, but it's kind of obvious. Ceremonies are not a ceremony is a performance. So it's not for the performance, it's for the performers, it's for the audience. The wedding is not for the groom and the bride. The wedding is for the audience. The funeral isn't for the dead. The funeral is for the living. No one tells us this. But deep down, if we stop and think about it, we know this. You know what I'm saying? We know this. But no one tells us this. You know what I mean? So yeah, if I were a single person contemplating being married, I have to ask myself, subjectively, what is a successful marriage? Is sleeping in different rooms and having side relationships but raising good children a successful marriage? You know what I mean? And then I would have to ask myself, what is the purpose of marriage? Is the purpose of marriage legacy building and wealth transfer to our children, or is the purpose of marriage fortifying romance? Or legally officiating our relationship with the government, with the local government. You know what I mean? What is the purpose of marriage, right? And so now let's spin the block. Let's bring it all back around. Let's tie it in a nice little bow. So me having this conversation with my son, he's probably looking at it. He's a young adult, so he's probably looking at it as from a romantic aspect, him being a young man per se. A man's love is the true love, right? You know what I mean? Because there's nothing like the validation of a man. Ladies, you agree? Say yes. Right? And so he's looking at it from a romantic aspect. He's saying to himself, like, yo, I don't want to be sleeping in different rooms and having side relationships and not speaking to my spouse. Just sitting at the dinner table eating breakfast like like we goons in prison. You know what I'm saying? No, he's thinking to himself, I don't want to do that, right? And me at my age, at my big age, I'm looking at marriage like, well, who do I want to spend the rest of my life with? And do I really need to get married in order to do that? Right? That's how I'm looking at it. So depending on what generation you're at, you look at your perspective on marriage is going to be different, you know? So yeah. I don't know where else to go with that. I think I broke that down so if it can forever and consistently be broke. So, do I have anybody in the chat? That wanna whatchamacallit? And if you wanna get on video, if you wanna get on call, like, let me know too. I can set that up. I can set that up too. But if there's anybody in the chat, if not, and I got some heavy hitters pulling up on the TikTok. Shout out to Carisha. I seen a DJ. The name came and went. But say what's up in the chat too, man. Don't just watch me and swipe away. Say what's up. Say what's up so I can shout you out, man. Yeah. So that's y'all homework. I'm gonna leave that. That's gonna be y'all homework for this evening. What do you call a successful marriage? What do you call a successful marriage? Does it matter whether your children become successful, productive citizens or not? Or does it matter whether or not you have a healthy romantic relationship with your spouse, regardless of whether your children become productive citizens or not? That's your homework. Let's figure that out, all right? So, with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning into this multi-million-dollar stream. I'm your host, Kev Prosper, the owner and founder of Prosperity U LLC. Prosperity U LLC is creating a society of wealth, positivity, and inspiration. You are tuned into Love and Money, the podcast of Prosperity U LLC. Thank you for contributing to the Cash App above, $ Prosperity U LLC. I know you see it. Go to that Cash App and give it everything you got. And then after you do that, visit this website below at prosperunlimited.com and allow that website to change your life. I guarantee it, because it changed mine. Thank you for liking, subscribing, following, and sharing. But most importantly, thank you for sharing, because sharing is caring. That's right, boys and girls. And if you like the show, give a gift or just give a like. The likes are free, guys. The likes are free. And remember, we do this every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And last but not least, remember to invest in the brand Prosperity U LLC. All right, I will see you guys next Monday at 9 p.m. Be sure to tune in, be there, or be square. All right, bye.
Be sure to shop Amazon with Prosperity U LLC. Link in the description.
These are all of my books. My very first book, Lead the Fairy Tales Up to Disney, The Reality of Dating. Haunted Truths, a romance murder mystery set in the heart of Brooklyn during the 1980s, during the height of the crack era. Switch, my romantic comedy. My trilogy, Spirit of the Machine, 1, 2, and 3, sci-fi action thriller. My poem anthology, Red Garden. That is System of the Sun. That's my book on organizational skills. Don't wait till I get rich to buy that book. New Shoes. That's my book on self-esteem, on how to love yourself. Ratchetology, yes. I'm the ratchetologist. Take my advice. Visit prosperunlimited.com and click travel to book your next vacation.
Do that freaky jam on the beat. Dizzy with that butter shit, that bone feed. Did you double do that song sing. Flicky ticky with some butter, sit that bone sing. If you cheeky cheddar check, I get her own cheese. It's a chicken with that head or this up, that won't be with the official with that whole sleeve. Bloody see each other, wish that with that long
I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. I got racks to the ATM jam. Tell me what you wanna do. You a badass bitch, If I don't get swallowed in that fat ass bitch, I got